Welcome back to another great episode of the Fruitful Three Show.
Yeah, buddy.
We're your hosts, Levi and Isaiah, and today we're diving into something literally ruining our trains or brains, the overconsumption of information and how it's overwhelming every single one of us.
Now, before we jump in, we have a little disclaimer we're going to make on this.
Yes. I also need to make the words bigger because I am blind.
I know, it's a little small.
There we go. Yes. We didn't really discuss. We discussed it like 5 minutes ago. How we were both going to text each other that maybe we should cancel tonight because we both are suffering from allergies.
Yeah.
As it has been harvesting season, and it's also been a wet year, and we only really suffer from allergies during the wet years.
Yeah. I mean, we can already tell from your voice. And today I spent a whole day sitting in a pit with nothing but bean dust and grain dust. So with that being said, I might sound a little congested too. Maybe not as bad as Isaiah, but
I didn't have a voice this morning, but I know some methods to get where I'm at, and I'm gonna regret it tomorrow. But you get this. So let me ask you this: how many tabs do you have open right now? How many notifications popped up on your phone while you've been listening to this? Be honest. We live in a world where the biggest problem isn't access to information anymore. It's survival through the noise. There are tons of information out there on the internet, social media, and your neighbor who's basically a walking encyclopedia. But here's the real question. What's right and what's wrong? We are drowning in the amount of information that's out there right now, and it's time we talk about it.
All right, so you mentioned... Go back up. How many notifications are popped up and everything else? So earlier this week, I saw a video and they were talking about, so it's like a pastor to a church. And I know our aunt does this for a fact, but it was a pastor. And what he does is he has like a little deal before you walk into the church itself. And he tells everybody to put their phones in there because what he does is he believes that church should be a place of worship and you shouldn't be distracted from what you're doing. And like that kind of hit me too, because it's like, how many times do we go to church or we go somewhere like anywhere else and we get like ding and like, oh, hey, someone texted me. You could be out with friends or you could be at a movie or, I mean, I understand you're supposed to have your phone off in movies, but same thing. But how many times do we like go out to do something together, and then all of a sudden it's like your phone dings or you get some notification. You're like, oh hey, I should take care of this.
Yeah.
And like we mentioned last week, that take a day and just shut technology off. So I mean, so last week is kind of like the intro to this week.
Yeah, pretty much. Okay, we're going to start off with merch. Fall is here and it's starting to get cooler. At iceentertainment.net/drip, we offer high-quality, eco-friendly options like hoodies and long sleeves to keep you nice and warm this fall and winter. Organically cotton or cotton-based material. So go bundle up now at iceentertainment.net/drip. And honestly, we have some, and people are loving the hoodies right now with the angel wings. So, go have fun with it.
Also, another seller is it's harvest season. If you want to look fresh for harvest time, go get us some of our merch.
But I was going to add that it prevents you from allergies, but that'd be lying, All right.
Oh, is that why you're better? You threw your shirt on and it just magically started healing you?
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah,
I got a nice sales pitch right there.
Yeah, it's crazy. Crazy what the Fruitful Three merch can do for you. It's just insane. All right. What is information overload? Information overload, also called infobest.
Infobesity?
Yeah, there we go. Infoxication, or information anxiety is when the quantity, frequency, or complexity of data presented exceeds a person's ability to process or make sense of it. It's not about having too much information. It's about having too much irrelevant, contradictory, or poorly organized information when the signal to noise ratio is low, meaning most of what's coming at you doesn't help but actually distracts or confuses. That's when we start struggling. The psychological effects: decision paralysis, stress, reduced quality of decisions, diminished focus, and serious cognitive fatigue.
One thing I noticed with doing the whole study of this is like the whole diminished focus and stuff. So like nowadays we have TikToks and we have reels and little short videos and so on and so forth. There has actually been studies out there that show people cannot go to like a movie theater and sit through a full movie anymore because they need like that little 5 minute, 10 minute clip. And after that, their attention span just goes out the window.
Mm. I in high school, I would only watch like TV shows because like my brain was like, oh, TV shows are shorter than movies, you know? And then I'd watch like a whole season of a TV show, you know, like 20 episodes compared to a movie, which is 2 hours, you know? So yeah, I have broken it because I love movies now, and I'd much rather watch a movie than a TV show.
Yeah.
So how did we get here? Let me take you on a journey from the computer age, bringing knowledge to the unknowledgeable to where we are now. So we started off with word of mouth. This isn't on here, but word of mouth was the first knowledge. And then we move on to books and print era, which was slow production, created content, limited circulation. Even back then, people worried about having too many books overwhelming their memory and time. If your TV screen is bigger than your library, you're stupid.
That is if you actually talk to like a bunch of billionaires and
Yeah.
like the I don't know, millionaires, billionaires, like the whole rich people, they tell you they got really smart by reading books.
Books. They are great.
So
Great
oh, good.
great way to pass time. That's
So before we move on to this next one, I'm gonna make a weird transition here. A very weird transition.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. So the other day, my daughter was watching Beauty and the Beast.
Okay.
So we went from a giant library in Beauty and the Beast to watching Beauty and the Beast,
Which is on the television.
Exactly.
Oh wow.
That was how I was like, I don't know how I'm making this transition, but television and radio, mass broadcast brought more content, but it was still scheduled and curated to some extent. People became more passive consumers, but didn't control all their inputs yet. So one thing with this is like before television even came around, there was radio, and radio would do a lot of people would sit down on like Saturday nights or Sunday nights and sit around the radio, and DJs would play stories or tell stories. And that was their form of entertainment back in the day. And then when television came about, that was when everything started getting more visualized. So I think things were a lot more creative even the radio time, because you were hearing something and you had to vision how it was being played out.
Also, back in the day, you only really had like 3 channels to choose from, and not 100 plus.
Or unless you're like us and you have like 15 growing up and everybody else had hundreds.
Facts. And it's like, what did you watch last night? The news.
Yup.
Oh, I watched Jake and whatever on Nickelodeon or Disney or whatever the channel it was on.
The only time we ever got to watch Dish and like all that stuff was if we went out to grandma's.
All right, moving on to the next one. If you can guess it, it's the internet. This is where things exploded. It's crazy how fast we've gone from the internet to where we are now. But user-generated content everywhere, anytime access, search engine, forums, blogs, greater volume, but wildly varying reliability.
Okay, so a lot of people don't know this, and you can call me old for all I care, but the internet truly didn't come around until like 1999. So, with that being said, is like everyone thinks the internet is like such a great, like younger people these days think the internet is so cool and it's been out forever. Truth be told, it really hasn't.
Well, I mean, like some internet forms of internet was before the time, but that was mainly like government owned and stuff like that, bigger companies. The people didn't really get it until like the 90s, late 90s.
See, here's a crazy thing. I just did it.
Wow, look at him.
I'm a prime example.
Wow.
We were talking about how like, oh, we can't stay focused.
Yeah.
And you hear a ding. Well, I heard a ding and I knew it was probably my wife texting me. And guess what?
I mean, but it's your wife.
Oh, I know. But I'm just saying is in the middle of this, right there and then, I'm a prime example.
Just bam, gone. Moving on to social media, constant feeds, immediate updates, pure sharing, information often completely unvetted, push notifications attacking your attention, algorithms optimizing purely for engagement, not truth. That's pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah.
And now the big thing is AI generated content. Higher volumes, completely automated content, visuals and videos that look stunningly real, but many may be complete fakes. Just go to OnlyFans now. I don't have a subscription, but I see everyone saying, oh, you can make millions if you just create a fake model and put it on OnlyFans. Synthetic voices, AI chat, deep fakes, low cost for producers, massive potential for misleading content.
So, okay, so one of my old coworkers from my old job, he is a prime example of this. And what I mean by a prime example of this is pretty much anybody who sends him like a fake account, and if they're like a hot girl, and the reason I use quotes on that is because it's fake, he accepts it and he believes it's real. And I've actually seen it too, where AI, you can build the perfect girl and like have conversations and stuff with her. I think that's kind of weird and strange because I just got a thing about this. Raj from the Big Bang Theory, he was obsessed with, was it Siri? And he had like the whole conversation and like fell in love with Siri. I think that's just I think there's a movie on something like that too. But it's really sad how we somehow are heading in that direction when we used to be able to have conversations face to face.
Yeah, crazy. So the evolution is clear: more volume, more speed, more sources, more automation, more types of content, and an exponentially increasing complexity in distinguishing what's credible and trustworthy. So why is it dangerous? I'll tell you why. Religion and spiritual beliefs. People share beliefs. This is yeah. For some reason, my brain just went to AI, and I was like, "We're not on AI anymore. This is information." Okay. People share beliefs or spiritual claims about robust evidence, hard to fact check because so much is subjective. Yeah, religion. I had like a list of things I was gonna mention on here, but now that I'm to this point, I don't remember all this stuff I had.
So the best way to describe this is traditions, right? like, okay, so you take like Catholics, they have traditions in the Catholic Church. Lutherans have specific traditions they follow, Methodists, so like so on and so forth down the whole entire list. They're all different. At the core value of it is Christianity, but each person believes something a little bit differently, and so they went out and they decided to start a church or a religion based off of those beliefs, and now there are just several different churches or not, or what is it, denominations now. That that to me would be the best way to break this down.
Also, if we go Greek gods, right? A lot of them were made up to have like an understanding of what they didn't understand back then, and now we have like math and science to help us understand that. So, I mean, there's that too. Food and nutrition. Rapidly shifting advice, small studies get hyped, conflicting claims. Oats are good, then oats are bad. The nuance gets lost in the noise.
Okay.
I added the oats are good and the oats are bad. It's like the eggs are good and eggs are bad. And in 2024, it's like, oh, do this or do that, or no, don't do this, don't do that. It's crazy.
Okay, so I don't remember what year this actually all started. Way, way, way back in the day, they started coming out with like cereal and started promoting, like, hey, if you have a bowl of cereal in the morning, it's going to energize you throughout the day, and it's healthy and it's whole grain. And oh, you need a glass of orange juice, and just started pushing all of this stuff. And later down the road, is they're starting to understand that a lot of these manufacturers are starting to take the nutrients out of the food themselves and putting artificial nutrients back into it, which your body is slowly destroying itself because it's not getting the proper nutrients that it needs. If that makes sense. I hate grain dust. It
Yeah,
sucks.
I don't blame you. I was fine until Monday when all the farmers were harvesting, trying to beat the rain. Man,
I think
that's
I
what
was like
killed me.
I think I was like you on Monday. Because what is it? I think it was like Tuesday I woke up all congested. And then like yesterday I started feeling fine. And then like today all of a sudden my nose just started running again.
Mhm.
And I started coughing. And I'm like,
Mhm.
are you serious? I was perfectly fine yesterday.
So yes. Next we have health, medical, natural, alternative medicine. Big risk here. As this is, I guess, a hot topic. All of this is really hot topics.
Yeah.
You can, misleading claims can literally be harmful. Uh, we have some of that. The natural equals safe. Misconception is everywhere.
So one thing that a lot of people are complaining about now is recently Trump came out and said if you are pregnant, don't take Tylenol because Tylenol can lead to autism. So I mean, this is just kind of along that same lines is
Mm.
whether, I mean, I understand there might be studies that show that, or there might be certain products in Tylenol that, because I mean, I don't know what all they use to make Tylenol.
Mm.
So there might be certain ingredients, that's the word I'm looking for, certain ingredients in Tylenol that are like, oh hey, this leads to this, but that's a huge one. Is people are trying to figure out if Tylenol really causes autism or if it was false news that Trump put out.
Well, it was a lawsuit, and then Trump got a whiff of it from the 2 seconds I studied it. That's what I got. Natural equals safe. Most of the time, natural does equal safe, but you also got to understand that when you process natural foods, it has a different chemical reaction and changes, and sometimes that natural can become unsafe or something else. Like if you cook down sugar way too much, sugar will then become more harmful to you than if you have like a natural form of sugar. And yeah, because you're cooking out the nutrients each time or the longer you cook it. Moving on, do it yourself how to and tutorial videos. Oh man, I picked this one specifically because when I started music, I watched a lot of tutorial videos and how to videos to understand how beat making happens, and it was just a rabbit hole after a rabbit hole of I learned some stuff, but I didn't learn what I wanted to learn, and it was all classes and pay for this and pay for that and spend thousands of dollars and invest your money here and invest your money there, and oh, you need all the plugins, oh, you don't need these plugins, and blah blah blah. So some are great, I will say, which is, I found a couple channels that I still somewhat watch because they do explain a lot and I can learn from them. Some are dangerously sloppy. If they promote a class within the first 2 minutes, run, bro. Run. You ain't gonna learn nothing. Safety risk, incomplete instructions. I see this all the time in videos. They cut out like a whole section of what you need to know or understand that you can only get in their class, and sometimes created more for attention than accuracy, which is true. Millions of views.
So I'll admit, sometimes, like, since I'm not in the field anymore and I do this as pretty much a hobby and to help other people, there are times I will watch tutorial videos or like how-to videos on how to do a job mechanically because I don't actually remember step by step of how to do it. And there are times where I'll catch myself calling the person an idiot, or you don't need to do that, or why are we doing this route? Why are we going down rabbit holes when we don't need to? That's something I've noticed.
Yeah, they like to focus more on the stuff that's not important than the important stuff. Moving on to fitness. As you know, we go back to the AI models, and now you have a lot of editing on your phone. You can make fake pictures if you want. I watched a video on that. That's quite insane. I never realized that you could do that on your phone, and now I can make me look like I'm super buff if I want. And so there's overclaims, unrealistic before and after photos, ignoring individual differences, exaggerating benefits while hiding risk, and of course, all the protein mixes you can get. Creatine, whey protein, whatever, blueberry flavored protein.
So my advice here is, if you are wanting to get into fitness and you have a certain goal you want to hit, I would do my best to find a personal trainer that fits your needs, who's going to guide you in the right direction of what, like, if you want to take protein, like protein shakes and stuff like that, they're going to be able to tell you what diet you need to be on, how much protein, so on and so forth, or this is the brand we recommend. Stay away from these other ones. That would be my advice, is get a personal trainer.
Since we're on this topic and we talked about food, there's a lot of discussion whether calories or carbs or proteins or fats or what to watch out for. If you pay attention, calories really only mean heat energy. So the more you consume, the more energy you're gonna more heat your body's gonna produce. So don't focus on calories, focus more on the protein, the carbs, and the fats. Because, if you have a higher protein and fat ratio than your carb ratio, you're going to probably lose more weight. But if you keep a higher carb ratio than your fat and protein ratio, you're going to probably gain more weight. So, there's that little free information that I give to you. You're welcome.
Isaiah, this next one makes us look like hypocrites.
I know. I specifically added this one for that reason. Podcast. They seem authentic, so people assume credibility. Unverified statements can get passed as a fact. Guess authority varies wildly. I know we have said some wrong information on this podcast before. That we try to get correct information and fact check everything and get credibility, but it doesn't always happen that way. So be careful with what information you pick up and receive. I mean, it's like everything else.
We choose topics that deal with everyday life and try to dive into those topics, because there's a lot of people out there who don't, like Isaiah was saying earlier, is there's a lot of hot topics. And some people would just rather avoid the hot topic than talking about the hot topic. We, on the other hand, are not afraid to talk about the hot topic. And so we do our best to scroll the web, look things up, do what we can to try giving you guys the best information that we have. Now, are we experts on these topics? No, by no means. But like I said, as we do our research, so if we have something that's wrong, don't be afraid to call us out. We'll definitely go back and try to look it up, try to figure out figure out our sources. If you want sources, we're not afraid. Like, if you want to call us out, we're not afraid to tell you, like, hey, this is the source we used. You can tell us that's a bad source. That's fine. So,
I try to use popular wide sources that I have used before for credibility. But as Levi kind of did a transition for us into conspiracy theories, which we've also done on the podcast, they're really quite just for fun. They're by nature, these exploit partial truth, ambiguity, gaps in knowledge. They thrive in times of uncertainty, and spread like wildfire on social media. So, I mean, we like to have fun every once in a while, and it's more like a thought exercise, free thinking.
and I'll be honest here, there are a lot of conspiracy theories out there that make a lot of sense. The problem is they're so hard to prove, and that is what makes them uncredible.
And last but not least, we have Midwesterners. They think they know everything. Yes, I had to throw that in there because, everyone in the Midwest thinks they know everything. And if you try to talk to someone, they will most likely say, I know. And they'll try to tell you how to do your job. This one's for you guys. You're welcome.
Way to call us out there, buddy.
So with AI increasing, we now have images and videos that look stunningly real, audio impersonations, synthetic text, these blur the lines between real and fake. Is this what I had up above? Did I copy that twice? Making it harder for people to trust what they see and hear. Oh, yes, that is true. AI is kind of blending and everything.
What's really scary is AI is like starting to get into the music world.
They've been at it for years.
Oh, I know. And I know we talked about this like last year at one time, but nowadays there's some stuff out there that I have found, and like you can tell by the title of it, it's AI, but it sounds so real. And it's starting to get really, really scary of how real some of these are. Also, I was reading an article the other day, which I didn't put it in here, but since we're on the topic of AI, China has invented a robot that can, so like you basically, the kids at home, cover your ears if you don't want to learn about how babies are made. But
mommy and daddy hug really tightly, and that's how a baby is made.
Okay, let me back up here. I've thought of better wording of how to do this. So kids, you might be safe. They figured out how to inseminate these robots. There we go. See, I had to think of the word before I was going to go down a whole rabbit hole, but they figured out how to inseminate these robots, and basically these robots are surrogate mothers, and the parents can actually watch their babies grow inside these robots. Now, I don't quite know how the baby gets all the nourishment, but it was kind of cool, but yet creepy of reading this article, because like the cool part is the fact that we have like all this advanced technology, right? But the creepy part is like if we have all this advanced technology and we're able to now use it to make babies.
Isn't this the plot of Matrix? I mean, isn't that what we fought against in the Matrix movies?
I think it was.
Because wasn't it the robots that were holding the babies and growing them and then using their energy to be fuel for their world and creations?
Yeah, it was. Like I said, it was scary to me. Like I said, to me, it was scary just because of like now that we have all this technology and they're able to use that. How much farther are they actually going to be able to go from here?
So here are some numbers that will blow your mind. A study from Talker Research found that Americans consume about 6 hours of content per day on average. Oh my lordy.
Oh my gosh, that's a third. Was that a third of your day? No, a fourth of your day.
Fourth of your day, yeah.
Sorry, my math is off.
You're thinking of eights, bro. Gen Z is closer to 6.6 to 7 hours daily. I mean, most people look at a screen 7 hours a day, so I mean, that's not surprising that much. Some estimates show the average person is exposed to 34 to 74 gigabytes of data daily. Oh my goodness. That includes notification, emails, phone calls, work-related content. Should have been and work-related
So
content.
also another weird thing is they are starting to do research on if cell phones actually cause cancer, because there have been a few claims of people who do a bunch of phone calls and then they get brain cancer. So they're starting to do research on that. Also, it's really crazy because the other day on my phone, I got a notification and it said, you have used your phone like 1.5 or like so many minutes or so, or I don't know if it said more or less, but than last week. And I thought that was a little strange because now my phone's calculating how much I use it.
That's been a thing for a while.
Oh, and I know that
Because
but
yeah, I get that every week too.
I mean,
And I always try to get the less, but man, there are times when it's like 30 minutes more and it's like crap. And then the week after it's like 12 minutes more and it's like crap.
like, I mean, I've noticed it's always been there because my phone always gives me those notifications. But it kind of like hit reality this week because I was doing all the research on this, and then I get that notification, and I was like, man, this kind of like hit home this week compared to all the other times, because you just like, oh, whatever, don't care, slide it off to.
You can click on it and you can see like all the averages of what you spend daily and weekly and hourly and all that fun stuff. While the exact numbers depend on what you count, there's strong evidence that daily exposure is extremely high and increasing rapidly. So, how is it affecting you right now? So, cognitive mental load, decision fatigue, too many choices makes picking anything harder, reduced attention span, as Levi has mentioned, harder to concentrate deeply, memory issues. Woo, this is a big one. Harder to encode and recall because you're overwhelmed.
Wait, I thought that was just from watching porn.
No, that just creates your palms are hairy, hairy palms.
Palms are hairy. Oh, wait. crap. I was trying to like go off of Eminem, but it didn't quite.
And I screwed it all up. So, confusion and increased uncertainty, believing in things that you don't actually, just believing in things that aren't actually real. And paralysis, my goodness, by analysts, delaying decisions indefinitely. So indecisive.
Okay, so here's one thing. If you don't believe in something, you're going to fall for everything.
Mhm.
With that being said, is believe in something. Whether it is probably something really, really dumb compared to others, at least believe in it. That's my advice to that whole confusion and stuff like that. Is also what's really weird is nowadays you almost gotta go to like the dark web to actually
The dark web.
find the truth.
You just got to go to Truth Social, and just read Donald Trump's truth tweets or whatever they call them. Is that even still a thing?
I don't know.
All right. Emotional, psychological effects: anxiety, stress, feeling constantly overwhelmed, burnout from information
Wow,
processing.
didn't we just talk about that last week?
We did. Guilt. Did I waste time? Did I miss something important? FOMO, fear of missing out, decreased satisfaction, less peace of mind. Yeah, I do nothing. There's been a day where I literally I had food poisoning, so I slept pretty much all day, which was great because I caught up on sleep. But I woke up in the afternoon and I was like, man, I just wasted my whole day. I had a whole day off of work and I wasted it by sleeping. But you know what? I'm kind of glad I got that sleep because I needed it.
The other thing I was gonna say is like the whole fear of missing out. That is like a common one with everybody. And the reason I say that is because like you can be a homebody and everything, and sometimes you are perfectly okay with not knowing everything. And then like sometimes you are like, oh well, I wish I was there, or oh, I feel bad for not going, or however you want to word that. So that fear of missing out is another big one in my mind.
And sometimes you say no because you think you have more stuff you got to get done at home or whatever. And then you realize like you don't actually have that much going on. And you're like, crap, I should have went with them or did this or whatever.
And we talked about it last week of how there is so much activities going on like weekends, weekdays, everything else. There's constantly just pop up some social media page or event page, and I guarantee you they're promoting some sort of event. And with that being said, is there's always like you could go to one event and then all of a sudden you ask yourself, oh man, this event wasn't as cool as what I thought it was. So did I just waste my time? Oh man, now I just missed out on this event and it was probably way better. Or you hear your friends talking about or you go somewhere and your friends are talking about something, you're like, man, I should have showed up. It sounds like they had a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. Behavioral social changes. More impulsive decisions because you can't weigh everything. Withdrawal, avoiding info sources, avoiding decisions altogether. Less critical thinking, easier to believe what's convenient or emotionally appealing. Spreading information because people share without verifying. That is also a big one. I will sometimes say things like I'll see a rumor and I'll go tell someone, and then that someone will like tell a bunch of people, and it's like, and then I find out that it's fake, and it's like, crap, what did I do? I just started a trend that wasn't real. Social comparison, social media makes people compare lives constantly, increasing anxiety.
So what I think of, okay, so like spreading misinformation and like social comparison, one thing I think of is like when we were younger. I mean, and I understand some stores might still have these, and I'm not 100% sure because I don't really pay attention and I don't really go shopping. My wife enjoys, well, I won't say enjoys doing that, but she happens to do that a lot more than I do. But Like growing up is when we were standing in line to get groceries, there was always magazines and newspapers and everything else. And they had all these big caption headlines of so and so cheated on so and so, or here's your new drama, or just something. So without reading the actual article, you could read so and so cheated on so and so. And next thing you know, you're like, oh, well, they cheated on so and so. And then you go spread it around. And then if you actually read the article, there might be a reason why they did it. Is it
Mm.
a valid reason? Maybe not, but there might be a better reasoning. Or like the whole social comparison. There's this saying out there, keeping up with the Joneses, or nowadays it's keeping up with the Kardashians. That's another thing that can totally increase anxiety and depression and everything else.
Productivity, work impact. Frequent interruptions, reduce flow states, takes time to reorient. More time spent filtering, verifying, or discarding irrelevant info. Mistakes because of misinformation or misunderstood information. Reduce creativity, too much input, little downtime for ideas to develop.
Okay. It might not actually fit into this category, but kind of does. One thing I was taught several years ago is no one, or it is physically impossible to multitask. And I understand right here in the comments, there will be a lot of people who disagree with me on that one. But the reason that's been is because you can only focus on one task at a time. So like if you're doing something here and you move to this task, you're now focused on this task, even though you may come back to this task.
It's a start and stop. What I don't remember what it's called, but it's a stop. You stop this motion, start this motion, and then you stop this motion to restart this motion. So there's no actual multitasking.
There you go. Thank you for clarifying that.
Yeah. And there is a great book. Oh, did I click
Oh,
something?
Isaiah's got a book.
Yes, let me find it. There it is. Ah, yes. The Productivity Project by Chris Bailey. It goes into a little bit of the science of productivity and all that. And I think that's the book that also talks about how you cannot multitask. So you're welcome. Go check it out. It's a great book. Physical health, sleep disruption from late night strolling and stress, eye strain, headaches, overload leading to neglect of exercise and self care, stress symptoms, elevated heart rate, muscle tension.
Okay. So the whole eye strain and headaches thing, right? There's been studies out there that have shown the little blue LED light on your phone can actually cause a lot of that. Now, I don't know how they do their studies. I haven't really taken the time to look into them. I do know, like I said, I just know there have been studies out there. So it might be a good thing to keep your phone off at night. The other thing is, like, I understand we use our phones for everything. Nowadays, we take notes with them, we use them for alarm clocks, so on and so forth. Sometimes it is best to go back to pen and paper and an old school alarm clock and just shut your phone off at night so you don't have to hear it ping and then you wonder, like, oh, hey, who's that?
They have a do not disturb button. You do realize that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Most people don't realize that. And it's like, why don't you use it? I also have this nice little pair of glasses that are blue light blockers. So when I am up late at night, I have these on because my eyes get strained out when I am working late at night. So yeah, there you go. Anything else you'd like to add to physical health?
No.
Now we're moving on to the Devil's Playbook.
Yo,
Yeah.
buddy.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I watched the reel and I was like, they asked, it went back to the radio broadcast of if I was the devil. And
Oh,
then they went and did that and asked Chat GPT, if you were the devil, what would you do? So I was like, oh yeah, and there's something is fear of trust and fear of something else.
was it Paul Harvey? Paul Harvey had something on that too. Way back. Gosh dang, I wish I could.
Yeah, it was a broadcast back in like the 60s, I believe, maybe 50s.
Hold on. I'm gonna be another person who gets distracted.
Oh
But
my
I
goodness.
but I gotta
I'm
find it.
going to read the intro. Now, if we zoom out, there's a strategy behind this chaos. Like somebody actually benefits when we're confused, distracted, and exhausted. If I were to imagine the devil's playbook for the information age, it might read something like this. Now, I asked JetGPT exactly what the one pastor or whatever asked. So that was what ChatGPT gave me.
1965 is when Paul Harvey did it. If you want to go watch the video, it is a 3.5 minute video, but it
Mhm.
is very informative.
Mhm.
Also, the other reels on that is they have like videos of asking. I mean, Isaiah's gonna get into this, but like asking Chat GPT how, if you were the devil, how would you destroy the world? Or I don't remember the exact.
So I asked ChatGPT, and this is what it gave me. So flood them with volume, make every channel so noisy that truth becomes just another shout in the crowd. Wow, doesn't that sound like what kind of world we're living in right now? Turn facts into fragments, break stories into headline memes and clips until no one remembers the context. Isn't that what's happening right now? Normalize instant judgment, reward hot takes, punish thoughtful pauses. Isn't that what's happening right now? Weaponize ambiguity, don't give one clear lie, give 10 half truths so people pick whichever feels good.
Okay. With that being said, one saying mom always gave us was there are three sides to every story: your side, my side, and the truth. She always told us, she goes, do your best to tell the truth.
Prioritize emotional hooks, outrage, fear, or delight. Clicks faster than accuracy. Split people into micro tribes, each convinced their filtered reality is one only or only one. Excuse me. Keep attention scattered. Switch topics so often they forget how to think deeply. People say common sense is dead. There you go. Make verification costly, hide reliable sources behind paywalls, keep junk fees. Any website you try to go to now is pretty much that way. Civilize cynicism, teach them that everything's propaganda so they'll give up caring. No one cares anymore. Monetize outrage, turn division into dollars, corrupt the grammar of trust. Followers and blue check marks become the new markers of truth.
Let me give a brief deal here. Few months back, I was watching this teacher. She what is it called? The red schoolhouse or whatever is what it's called. They were a group of teachers. They got tired of all of the government pushy stuff in schools, and they didn't think that, because basically, let's put it this way. Nowadays, let's back up here. Beforehand is families used to run like family farms, and they used to work together. And then the industrialization came about, and man was able to go to work, women stayed home with the children. And nowadays they're pushing more for women's rights. They're trying to desensitize men. And nowadays what's happened, or even demasculate, I don't know how you want to word that, demasculize men. But nowadays is the problem is there's really no one at home teaching your kids. Both parents are out of the house. So where do your kids go? Daycare? That means somebody else is raising your kid. Public school? Somebody else is raising your kid. College? Somebody else is teaching your kid. So what these teachers did is they saw this, and they saw a bunch of parents out of the house, and kids weren't being taught the right stuff in school, and they were pushing government propaganda like trans and drag queens and stuff like that, and they didn't really care for it. So what they did is they started a mini homeschooling system, and now it's grown into an actual schoolhouse where they will do they teach our kids the basic stuff they need to learn in school, whatever doctrine comes down from the state. But not only that, they have like a little farm out back, so they teach kids how to feed animals, take care of animals. They help them build things like fences and stuff like that. So they're getting a lot more education than what you are just learning in a public school.
So back to the thingy, sound extreme, look around, we skim headlines and share about without reading. We trade nuance for slogans, big, deep projects starve with flashy, quick takes thrive. Trust shatters, fatigue sets in, and people either tune out completely or radicalize that the playbook's working in real time. Do you have any personal stories?
No, but going back to like the whole devil playbook, there's one thing in Sunday school several years ago. This was actually when I was still going to the church here in Gilead. One thing is, I don't remember how the joke goes, but there was like a joke or a little story, and the devil was trying to get ideas on how to beat God. And he kept getting all these ideas, and I don't remember what the ideas were now, but he kept having his demons come to him and give him ideas after ideas, and he's like, no, that won't work. The last demon comes up and he goes, tell him you'll always have tomorrow to do it. And that's, I mean, that's kind of the same thing here. Is we're getting a bunch of all this information and everything. We're now saying, oh yeah, we can do it tomorrow. Or what's the oh, we can stay up one more hour scrolling through this. It ain't gonna bother us. And at the end of the day, as it's slowly taking a toll on our health and like our personal and physical self.
I did have a personal story, but I thought I could remember it, but the last couple days have been a doozy with allergies and other miscellaneous BS going on. So I should have took notes, and that's my own fault. So we're going to move on to practical solutions. But here's the good news. You don't have to play by that chaotic playbook. There's another strategy, and it's all about reclaiming your mind and your community. Here are 8 ways to fight back. 8 ways to fight back. Active filtering. Unsubscribe from unnecessary email lists and newsletters that don't add real value. Unfollow or mute social media accounts that create noise rather than signal. Turn off non-essential notifications, only keep what's truly urgent. Use do not disturb modes during focus times. Oh, that's crazy. I didn't just mention that like 2 segments ago. Choose 2 or 3 trusted news sources instead of consuming from everywhere.
Okay, you were asking for personal stories.
We're way past this.
I know, but you got talking about like the whole email and all this other stuff, right? So my time in the military, and as you progress in your military career, people start thinking, oh, hey, you have all the time in the world and we can send you all these emails. And unfortunately, I'm old school. I don't really look at emails. So they believe like you need to email everything. They need to take the time and fill out certain forms and so on and so forth. And then you get a text message of, well, why haven't you filled out this form yet? Or you send them a text message and they're like, no, you need to send that information through email, which is really annoying because I would rather just text you, because at the end of the day, you have to log into an email. You have to actually figure out how to properly type an email. Then you have to send the email.
There are nice tools, that you can get to use on your emails.
I'm just saying, it's just so much. Why can't we just go back to like pen and paper and not all electronic crap?
Because that takes 3 days.
I would rather fill out a piece of paper than try to figure out how it works on a computer that doesn't work half the time.
Get a new computer.
Even at that point,
you'll figure it out. Quality over quantity. Follow fewer, higher quality sources rather than many mediocre ones. Prioritize expert vetted content over random social media posts. Subscribe to curated newsletters that summarize rather than raw feeds. Set boundaries and time limits. Scheduled information consumption. Check email, social media at specific times like 9 a.m., 1 p.m., 5 p.m. instead of constantly. I only check email once per day, and that is when I get home from work. And that is the only time I check email. And for social media, that's during my lunch break or before work, pretty much, unless I have time to kill and I'm waiting for something so I can procrastinate. Set daily limits, 30 minutes for news, 1 hour for social media. You can do this. Your phone have apparatus that allows you to do this.
Wait, is that what it means by use app timers to enforce these limits?
Yes.
Whoa.
Yes, look at you go. Create information-free zones, no devices during meals, first, the last hour of day.
So
Yeah.
one thing we've tried to do in our household is like if we go out for supper, we've always tried to leave like our phones in the car, unless of course we are expecting like a specific phone call or something. Then like let's say I'm expecting to hear a phone call back from someone, then I am the only one who will bring the phone inside, and the phone will set in the middle of the table. So then when it rings, we can answer it. Or if Shiloh's expecting a phone call or a text message or something, then she's the one who brings it in. But if we are not expecting anybody to call us, then what we do is we leave our phones in the car and we go have dinner or supper or lunch or whatever it is, and then we head back.
Like, I know it's improper, but when like I hang out with friends, I will always take my phone out of my pocket. I know you're supposed to leave it in your pocket, but I'll always put it face down on the table, arms length away from me, and I'll try to leave it there unless I'm checking the time, because I never wear a watch. And if there's not a clock in the room, then I'm gonna check the time because I like to leave when I like to leave, you know? Batch processing, handle similar tasks together, all emails at once, all news reading at once, avoid task switching between different information sources. That's kind of hard when we're in the podcast industry.
Yeah.
3, improve your media literacy. Yeah, Levi. You want a book on the art of social media? I got it. It'll help you. Source verification. Always ask who wrote this. What are their credentials? Look for citation, references, links to original studies, cross-reference claims with multiple reputable sources. Be extra skeptical of content designed to make you emotional or angry.
I've always tried to like when I do my research, I always try to figure out like who wrote this. Well, like I figure out the page. I don't sometimes I don't always ask like who wrote this, but I try to like use multiple sources. And if like the multiple sources basically say the same thing, maybe just worded a little differently, then it's like, okay, I'll use that information.
Mm. How I do it and what I've started doing for food and everything else is the Bible. I actually use the Bible as my credentials for anything, because if it is way out of subject, you know, um, like food wise specifically, if it's not mentioned in the Bible, I'm like not really into it in the real world, or you know.
So how does that actually work when in the New Testament he says you are free to eat whatever?
Yeah. You're talking about First Timothy, I believe, chapter 4. So I am very skeptical about what I eat, because like they say, if it is offered to you, accept it. You know, this is me choosing what I want to eat. So no one's offering me the food. I'm offering myself the food. And if I'm going to offer myself the food, I am going to go with the Old Testament and get, you know, and try to stay away from pork. But I will still eat pork if it's offered to me. But I will not eat bottom feeders of the ocean like crabs and lobsters and shrimp. I eat the just regular fish, salmon and tuna and sometimes some other stuff, some other fishes that aren't bottom feeders. That is what I try to do. Red flags to watch for credibility, clickbait headlines with emotional language, claims that seem too good or too bad to be true, content with no author listed or source cited, information that confirms exactly what you want to hear. Ah, yes. Something is, oh, don't you know Robert Patterson's gonna be the new Batman in the DCU?
Wasn't he like the old? Didn't they make a movie with him though?
Well, yeah, but he wasn't part of the DCU.
Oh,
But I'm lying to you right now
well, I know, but
because
I'm just
yeah,
I I get that, but when you mentioned that, I was like, but they did make a movie with him though.
yeah. So and people want him in the DCU, so people are gonna believe what they hear. You know?
The other big one. Okay, so like the clickbait headlines. One big thing for me is like everyone out there knows that I am a big, huge football guy. And I have recently discovered that there are a lot of sports clickbait headlines that they get your attention and you're like breaking news or this trade just happened or something and you're like, "Oh, but the deal is like for football, I'm really skeptical about it because I follow football a lot. So with that being said, is when I see that, I'm skeptical. Now, if you were like to mention hockey or baseball or like basketball or anything, I might be a little bit more like, oh, hey, yeah, that probably happened.
I'll use clickbait every once in a while just to try and get views. Especially I've learned if you want views, just say Taylor Swift, okay, one time, and then you at Taylor Swift. And I can take this clip and clip it right here that I said Taylor Swift, and I can add Taylor Swift, and that's 1,000 views instantly.
Okay, so here's another. So since we're on the whole Taylor Swift topic, and I don't know, I haven't done my research on this yet, but the other night I was scrolling through social media and Taylor Swift put a bid in to do the super or halftime show for the Super Bowl this year. Apparently, according to what I read the other night, and it might have been just a clickbait headline, but it read that Taylor Swift had a falling out with the NFL. Now, like I said, since Isaiah mentioned Taylor Swift, all my Swifties can come at me and say either I'm a complete idiot for reading that and wouldn't say I believed it, but
Well, now
they can confirm it.
I have leverage for clickbait now, so thank you.
You were mentioning Taylor Swift. Oh, also, it is rumored that sometime that Chiefs Kingdom wants Taylor Swift and Tech Nine to do a collab together and make
Lord.
like a KC anthem.
We'll see.
We'll see. Also, see, now we can add Tech Nine in here and get more views.
Well, I mean, he doesn't get that many views. He just makes a ton of money.
Speaking of Tech Nine, did you know he doesn't sit in the press boxes at Arrowhead Stadium? He buys regular tickets in the stands and he just sits there as a regular fan. Do you realize how many people don't actually recognize who he truly is?
They'd probably look at him like, that's Tech Nine. And then it's like, no, he's just sitting with a regular dude. And then they probably get the racist, they all look alike idea and the whole system. And if you get mad at me for saying that, check yourself before you wreck yourself.
The whole reason I figured this out was because the other day he was at the Philly game at Arrowhead and he was recording it. They started playing KCMO afterwards, which was an anthem he made a few years back. And he's like bumping to it and everything else, and so are other people. And only one guy out of the whole thing goes, "Yeah, man," and gives him a fist bump. And he goes, "Yeah, this is kind of how popular I am in Chiefs Kingdom right now."
Hmm.
Like he just kind of took it as like, yeah, whatever. But yeah, and that's what I like about guys like that is they'd rather be sitting in the stands.
So number 4, use helpful tools and resources. So technological solutions, fact checking websites like Snopes, factcheck.org, PolitiFact. Um, you can even attempt to use AI if you want and fact check it. You might end up with some wrong information, as I have done before, and did more research to fix it.
Speaking of fact checking, right? This doesn't really deal with fact checking, but it more deals with like grammar and editing. The other day, um, we had a coworker and she went to go write something and it said especially. She wrote ECSP and then spelled it rest, right? According to her grammar check, that was correct.
Yeah, Grammarly doesn't always get it correct. Like it just scans it. Because even I'll correct it with like commas or semicolons or whatever else. Like sometimes I have to correct it. Browser extensions that flag questionable content. I have a bunch of ad blockers and stuff like that. Platform features like X, Twitter community notes, news aggregators that show multiple perspectives like All Sides or Ground News. And we got your human resources, your
Oh no, we're going to HR, buddy.
yes, we got your Midwesterners. They know everything, so just go ask your local Midwesterner.
They're walking almanac. Go ask a farmer. They're a walking almanac.
You know that you probably didn't even get it, but in the intro, I said your neighbor that is like a walking encyclopedia. That's your Midwesterner right there.
I caught it.
Okay.
You know when you said that, all I could think of was grandpa. His grandpa had like a whole bunch of encyclopedias in his house growing up.
mhm. We used to have quite a bit of encyclopedias, but we don't have them no more. Discuss ambiguous claims with knowledgeable friends before sharing. Join communities focused on critical thinking. Ask experts in relevant fields when possible. So, collab
Which,
and see what you come up with. Free think.
speaking on that note, if we are working on getting a few people on here who specialize in certain fields. If there is any specific topic that you would want us to talk about, or that's not clear in our previous podcasts, or even this one, let us know and we will do our best to find you an expert.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And as a Midwesterner, I'm pretty knowledgeable in a lot of stuff as a Midwesterner. I keep saying Midwesterner.
We're not knowledgeable, we're kind of jack of all trades.
Yeah, there you go. But I do a lot of research the Midwestern way. So number 5, practice slower, deeper thinking. Free think, tongue twister, the pause principle. When something feels urgent or emotionally charged, stop. As I said last week, stop and stare at a wall for a couple minutes. You'll actually realize something. You can figure stuff
I've
out.
actually said that too several times. Is I think if we are so in a fast-paced world right now that if we actually stopped and slowed down, I believe common sense would actually come back.
Wait 24 hours before sharing controversial content. Ask yourself, do I need to respond to this right now? And I am really good at this. People will text me and send me stuff, and I will wait like 8 hours before I reply. Yes, I do see it, but I don't always reply right away because I think about what I want to say. And I do some research if it's an actual question where I have to really ponder on it. I think about it.
I'm not gonna use his name, but there's a local farmer around here. Some people think he's a little slow, but he is very conservative and very thoughtful. You can ask him a question and he will take probably 30 seconds before he answers you because he is trying to think of the best answer and the best way to tell you something instead of just rushing into the answer and making a fool out of himself.
hmm and verify before you amplify. Deep versus surface reading. Allocate time for longer form content, books, in-depth articles. Read full articles, not just headlines.
Oh wait, wasn't that what I was just talking about with the whole magazine thing at
hmm
your grocery stores?
Yeah, I tend to read just the headlines sometimes, and that's my issue. But sometimes, if the headlines actually clickbait me, I will actually read the full article or part of it or skim through it. Take notes on important information to help with retention. Write down stuff, take notes, all that fun stuff. As Levi has seen, I have 3 notebooks on the desk right now, and each page is filled with random stuff. And I don't think he understands what all that random stuff is, but it's important to me because when I am doing a project, I have my notes. Discuss what you've learned with others. So again, collab. Number 6 is prioritize mental self-care. Recognize system overloads or overload symptoms. Mental fatigue, difficulty concentrating, feeling anxious about missing information, decision paralysis or procrastination.
Oh man, I should have saved my devil story till now.
Could have.
Man.
Physical symptoms like headaches and sleep issues. A lot of people are suffering from insomnia nowadays. And as a Midwesterner, I suffer from insomnia too, but I have put um things in place to help me actually sleep like 7 hours a night without taking medication. I ain't gonna talk about it unless someone asks, but you know,
If you want to know his methods, feel free to comment below and he will reach out to you.
yeah, if you want to know my methods, you just gotta be like, Isaiah, tell us your secrets. And I'll probably tell you all my secrets. Locked away in a box deep down, hidden from all society. Anyway, regular digital detoxes, take complete breaks from information consumption. I do a lot of information consumption, so sometimes I will just go and like I'll read a lot of nonfiction books and productivity books and stuff, but I will take a break and actually read fictional folklore books because I love folklore and adventure and action and all that stuff. And mystery, I love mystery books. So, that's how I take my breaks. Engaged in online activities or offline activities, my bad. Exercise, nature walks, hobbies. I exercise all the time. I take walks all the time, but my hobbies are on the computer.
I will tell you is I probably am not the best person at exercising. I do go on a lot of walks. I take our dog on a lot of walks. But I do spend a lot of time in a garage with a bunch of hobbies.
There you go. There you go. I do not. I spend it on the computer with my hobbies. Practice mindfulness or meditation to reset your mental state. I do practice meditation every once in a while. And most people don't realize this, but if you just stop and stare at a wall, you're practicing meditation. You don't have to get in the stance and go, it's pretty much just silence and just letting your thoughts roam.
Is it weird that like I reset my mental state by watching football or listening to like heavy metal in the garage?
Heavy metal just does something.
Like I don't know what it is when you get mad at a car and you kick a car and you throw a few wrenches. For some reason, you're just calmer.
You just got to get it out sometimes.
Also, let's get real here. On a spiritual note, have you ever thought about actually sitting down and praying? It may not be a form of meditation, but it really are you it what are you doing?
I was just saying if prayer was on
Oh,
here or not, you know?
okay. But it relieves, it's actually been scientifically proven that if you pray, it relieves a lot of stress and anxiety and a lot of other things, and it makes you more peace, that gives you more peace of mind.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I'm trying to go.
Mm-hmm. Get adequate sleep, as we mentioned already. Information processing happens during rest. Number 7, develop information hierarchy. Triage system, critical, safety, health, work essential info, important and personal growth, relationships, interest, um, optional, entertainment, casual browsing, social media. Focus your energy on higher tiers first, obviously. So it's like a 30-30-40 rule. Wait, that's still wrong. Well, no, because you're putting the two. The two infrastructures higher, so you're at a 60%. If you want to focus on, unless you want to just focus on critical, then you do 50-30-20. The need to know versus the nice to know filter. Ask, will this information help me make a better decision or improve my life? If the answer is no, consider skipping it. I do this a lot. Number 8, build information resilience.
Don't don't rely on just one platform or perspective. Seek out opposing viewpoints occasionally. Understand your biases and actively counter them. Accept uncertainty. It's okay not to have an opinion on everything. You don't need to consume every piece of breaking news. Some questions don't have clear answers, and that's completely normal. Okay. First of all, that one bugs me. That one seriously bugs me.
Actually, no. Some questions don't have clear answers because it is more of a natural. We haven't discovered the science behind it yet. So it's more of a faith-based answer that you're getting in questions that you're asking. Are you understanding what I'm putting
I
down?
understand that, but that's not the route I was going.
Oh, I don't know what route you're going.
So, obviously, me being in a mechanical field or being a mechanic, I have asked a lot of questions. Okay, let's put it this way. A few years back, I was working on a lawnmower. It didn't have spark, right? Tested the coil and everything. Tested out fine. Had the right ohms going through it. Was supposed to be working, right? So I didn't know. Called a buddy of mine who specializes in small engines and especially John Deere small engines. And he told me, replace the coil. And I go, why? The coil's good. It tests out perfectly fine. He goes, just replace the coil. I replaced the coil and it worked. I still want to know how you can test a part and it tests out fine, but it doesn't actually work.
It happens.
That is what I hate, because I can solve something. Dad always tells me this, because he's like, some things just don't make sense. You just got to live with it. And it's like, no, I want to know the whys behind it.
Yeah, because you're man, and as a man or as a human, you want to know the science behind everything instead of trusting in the faith-bound resources. So we have a challenge for you. Did you ever complete last week's challenge? Is with burnout, taking away one thing that caused burned out or something like that?
I don't think I did.
Oh, wow. Look at Levi being a poor thing. I didn't either.
Wow. You come at me, bro, and you can't even live up to it.
Yeah. Practice what I preach, not what I do.
Yeah, you hypocrite.
Yeah. Anyway, here's what I want you to do this week. And Levi and I will actually try to do it too. Because, if we do it, maybe other people will do it. And I'm going to do it with you. Wow. Look at that. I knew the line before even reading the next line. So the one source challenge, pick one source of information overwhelm in your life. Is it those 47 YouTube subscriptions you never actually watch? They have their specific reasonings of why I have them subscribed, okay? I may not watch every video, but I have them subscribed for a specific reason. And it's only like 10, maybe less. The news app that sends you breaking news alerts every 30 minutes. The social media account that always leaves you feeling angry or inadequate. I don't have none of those. The email newsletters you signed up for but never read. Dude, I have so many of those. I've actually started reporting them. And cool fact I've learned is sometimes I'll report them and I'll get like miscellaneous money in my bank account after reporting them. And I don't know what for, but sometimes I get free money from it. So, go for it. So choose one, just one, and cut it out for the next 7 days. What are you choosing, Levi? It doesn't have to be a specific 47. It was
I know.
a hyperbole, a metaphor, a figure of speech.
I get it. I know. As a Midwestern say.
As a Midwestern, dude, I honestly don't have. I'll think of something.
The most common one for me is probably like social media because I really don't have news apps. Like the YouTube channels that I do watch are all shops, and yeah.
The only over annoying notifications I get are the ones that I can't shut off unless I shut off all the notifications.
Yeah.
And I need one little notification that's important to remind me to actually get in the app once per day.
The weird part is like the whole social media thing, right? So the only social media I really have is pretty much Facebook.
So pretty much it's
But-
not feeling angry or inadequate, it's like doom scrolling. So will you prevent yourself from doom scrolling?
Yeah, but I will still advertise things.
Well, yeah. I don't blame you.
I've tried getting rid of Facebook. Like if I add something, I will, and if I get notifications of saying, "Hey, somebody comment on your post," I will look at it, and if it's something that I can ignore, I just ignore. Like if I advertise something for Pioneers Inn, and they're like best food around, it's like, okay, cool, thanks. Like I'm gonna ignore it. Or if they're like, "Hey, where's this place located?" then I'll respond and say Gilead, Nebraska. It's just kind of.
I don't have notifications. I post stuff and then I just leave it.
I don't really have. I have all notifications on my phone off. The only notifications I truly get is like text messages, phone calls, and Messenger.
So track the results. I want you to journal just a few sentences each day about how your focus and mood shift. Do you notice you feel more present in conversations? Are you less anxious? Can you concentrate better on important tasks? Do you make decisions faster? I will say through my own personal journey, yes, all this and a bag of chips. I feel great. I have less anxiety and stress, and I'm more chill and more open to ideas that are thrown on my plate that I can figure out.
One weird thing, so reading through this whole thing or doing this whole show right now, is I kind of wonder how we all got from sitting around in a restaurant listening to like ladies gossip and farmers gossip in the mornings to now everything is on a news feed.
Fox News. So remember, you are not required to have an opinion on every topic or consume every piece of information available. Your attention is valuable. Protect it like you would your money or time. Quality information that helps you make better decisions is worth infinitively more than massive quantities of random data.
Just remember one thing. You can always earn money back. You can never earn your time back. Once your time is spent, it is spent.
So choose wisely.
Exactly.
Any final thoughts before we close?
Not that I can think of.
I do apologize. I will try to edit as best as I can of what our allergies and coughing and sneezing and hacking and packing and doing some dapping, you know?
Yeah, I wish I was like you and was able to take a nap. I went from straight dust pit to here.
You could have took a nap on the road. You would have figured it out.
Sleep driving? Or
You just need to invest in one of those self-driving cars, you know?
I don't trust those on gravel, buddy. I might try. I don't even know if I trust that on a regular highway.
Yeah, I don't blame you. Anyway, I'll try to do my best, but we're going to close out. We're going to get done. The goal isn't to be uninformed. It is to be strategically informed. It's about choosing signal over static, fruitful over filler. If the devil's playbook is noise, then our defense is focus. If overwhelm is the weapon, then intentional curation is our shield. Take back control of your information diet and you'll regain control of your mind, your decisions, and ultimately your life.
That's a wrap, boys.
That is a wrap. Go check out the iceentertainment.net/drip because we got all your shaboozy drip going. Also,
I don't know if you can use that name because
I know. He had to take my slogan away, man. I remember when that was just a slogan and now everyone has to, it's an artist and I can't say shaboozy anymore. So thank you for watching today. Stay fruitful, stay focused, and remember, not all information is worth your attention. Peace, love, happiness, and unity. And we are out.
Deuces.